Also makes like a really it also makes like a really cool makes a really cool thumbnail. Anyway, so um I probably should go back. It's fine. I'll do that. I'll do that after the fact. But anyway, um, welcome everyone. Today, I am your esteemed host, Mr. Rigamorty, and I'm on stream, talking about one of the maps that's going to come into rotation, because especially for a lot of people who haven't been playing this game for that long, there's a lot of maps you guys are learning, and this is just one more of those maps. But you guys have the distinct advantage that you're all learning it at the exact same time. So, Sunset is a map that is very, very mid-focused. The reason why I say it's mid-focused is because for a lot of other maps, I'll take Bind for example, there is no mid. There's these connectors that connect everything else together, but it's not really a midsection. Split, for example, does have a mid, and a lot of the game plays around this mid. Split's probably like our closest example to what Sunset is. The way I like to think about it, a map that is deceptively mid-focused, Sunset is closer to Ascent than it is to Split, in my opinion. For the simple reason that I'll explain just now. Of this fight here, the fight from mid-bottom to mid-top, is the biggest factor, in my opinion, or the biggest comparison, in my opinion, between the two maps. Because there isn't really a fight like that on Split. This mid-vents to ramen fights is potentially one of them. This mid-mail to sewers fights is potentially one of them, but it's not really the same. The reason why I compare the two is because everyone has played, or will have played at one point, either DMs where they standing mid-bottom and someone standing mid-top, and then one of these fights happens and either this attacker dies or this defender dies, or other way around, defender or attacker dies, and the entire of mid just blows up. Until someone else fills this gap. Just the presence in being mid is more valuable than winning this fight. And that's the way Split works, or Sunset works as well. In my opinion, the way Sunset should be played is not fighting over mid, because I truly believe, at the moment at least, before I see like pro play and stuff, that any fight over mid is game losing. Especially considering the fact that this is one of the... Hey, thanks for the raid, Miss Chloe. Hope you guys are having fun. We're talking Sunset today. Recording a video for YouTube as well. Yeah, we can... Everyone who's coming over, you guys can learn a bit about map geometry and like the way I think this map should be played at least. But anyway, because the way this map is structured, thanks Apex, I really appreciate it. Yeah, you guys will make me blush. You gotta stop. But the way this map is structured, there is a lot of ways to access different parts of the maps. So, for example, you can access B through 3 lanes on attack. In theory, there's a lot of ways to crunch. You can access mid through 4 ways? You can access mid through 4 ways. You can access A through 1, 2, 3 ways, 4 ways as well. So this is a very like open map. There's a lot of room to give up space in regards to taking up more space, if that makes sense. In my mind, the way you play these sites, if you fight for this site, and especially the sight line, you're trolling, because you will die more often than not. I think the fight going this way from Boba, which is this area here, is a lot more favorable towards the attackers. So anyway, TLDR, literally, I can actually write this down. So I'll just put this over here, and then we can just revisit the points. I think fighting mid 1v1 is trolling. Further, I think the way to play this map, play retake, and like Split, late lurks are king. late lurks are objectively the best way to play these maps, or to play this map, I think. Just because I'll show you now, there aren't that many ways. Also, this is the map. There aren't that many ways to actually contest or lose space, if that makes sense. I'm not gonna fall, because if I fall, then I just straight up die. But there's a lot of ways to like actually contest it, right? If you are late lurking. But firstly, we have this angle. These are like, this is the first point of contact I imagine will be in like a lot of your ranked games. Let's just go through map callouts first. I'm not that well versed on them, but let's like get into more niche ones so then people can call the right thing as soon as physically possible. So this area here is B lobby, and B lobby extends all the way up until this line here. From here, you're no longer fighting B lobby, you're fighting into Boba. So I call this area Boba. B-O-B-A. You can call this like something to do with these maps. You can call it art, you can call it science, you can do it whatever. But Boba makes more sense because firstly it's on B side, and secondly, Boba's a very memorable name. Boba is next to lobby. You go to the lobby, into the mall, and where you go into the mall, you see Boba still. We have obviously close left, double stack boxes. We have a close right similar to hey, what's up, Zooks? We have a close right similar to that of Breeze. We have backside. This entire area is backside. This is... I don't have a call out for this yet. If you guys have any call outs, just let me know. Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw your message earlier. Sorry I didn't respond. But yeah, also... Oh, Zix is streaming. I think exclamation mark shout out like this. I'll do it afterwards. I just want to finish this. This is drop down. This is, you can call this drop, you can call this whatever. I call it recycling bin because there's a recycling bin here. So yeah. So we have Boba. Boba fights into back side or back left. There's close left, there's close right, and then there's recycling bin. Top recycle or top recycling, bottom recycling. Or top bin, bottom bin, whatever you want to call it. B if you want to be systematic. We have ticket booth or info here. It's also called market because there's a bunch of market stalls here. But I like to say like this area in general. This area in general is market, and then this call out is ticket booth or info. The reason why is because I don't want to be in a situation where someone calls market when they really mean front ticket booth, for example. They can say front market, they can say back market or whatever, but saying stuff like calling this ticket booth helps a lot of people. Here's Boba actually. Sorry, I got the two confused. This one's Boba. This one's Boba. That's B main. I get them confused, and also this one you can actually call maps. This is Boba because there's a Dream Bubble Boba stall. So then Boba into backside, from backside into, you can call it art, you can call it maps, you can call it history, you can do it whatever. When pros start coming out with callouts, then we'll start using those. But yeah, Boba, backside, main, market, or ticket booth, or info, or whatever. Just be very, very careful about calling this, especially if you're retaking. Calling someone market does leave a lot to be desired, if that makes sense. Because if you call, let's say you just call market in general, and I have to clear all of this, especially if I'm retaking and I'm just retaking from Boba as a defender, I have to clear all of this while also clearing everything in front of me. It doesn't really leave me much. If you have more precise info, like letting me know that they're tuck or corner of market, or they'll play lossing ticket booth, does give me timings or like advice on what to hold, because then I know whether I need to hold this angle, because that's a very, like, you can see like the corners here, the actual corner that you're peeking is there. So especially for retake, just knowing you're more likely to win this fight just because of how far these angles are. And then backsides, etc. Backsides, and then bin, top bin, bot bin, or dropped bin. We have CT spawn over here. There's a taco truck as well, which is really, really cool. So CT spawn for selling tacos. We have, this is top mid, I think. Yeah, this is top mid. And this is bot mid. And this is the fight that I was referring to when I said you're trolling by playing it. Yeah, this is the fight I was saying. If you're playing here, you are actually trolling. Because I don't have anyone who's online at the moment. Let me check. I might have someone who's willing to hop into a custom with me, just to sort of like run through why I think it's trolling. No, there's no one really who's here. Maybe I can ask 10B's. 10B's on? He's in a 10 man. But yeah, so the reason why I say this is trolling is I'll probably get some B-roll or something. This fight here is way more favorable. It's the same with like, imagine that's Suez and imagine that's Ramen. The people who played this, the people who are playing this fight here have so much more influence on how this fight goes. Because not only can they watch this walkout here, they can watch all of this, but they have to swing really, really wide to fight this guy. And if they swing wide to fight this guy, this man swings out as well, right? And then also on the opposite side, this is a more favorable fight to defenders or to attackers, as in this angle here from tiles, because they can sort of walk up. They can take either this fight here, they can take this fight here, and if they take that fight, if you take that fight, you're also exposed to this guy here. So I'll show you what you can see. So we'll just use the spray as an example. From where I am here, I can't see the spray, but it's relatively easy for me to swing off of it. Opposed to here, where I can see the spray, and it's like a really, really tight angle. But I digress. Yeah. Top mid, we can call this whatever you want to. This is courtyard this is courtyard according to Rito, but I don't know what you guys want to call this. We can call this building, mark it over there just in case you needed help with the callouts. You can call this stones, you can call it pillar, you can call it whatever. Just know this in late round is really, really strong. This is a late round lurk is really, really strong. Because once you get into this pocket here, you completely cut off the top mid player, who might be watching for the late lurk, and they might run in here to retake. And from here, you can actually like play around and fight them for this space while your teammate closes the door. There's also a switch here. But like I said, I digress. Yeah, top mid is this whole area. And it's trolling. Don't fight this. Don't fight this until people learn the angles more, because it will just be a raw straight angle. This is back alley. According to the map, you'll find people calling this elbow more than anything else, and then this one here alley. Because this one looks more like an alley than that one. So yeah, if you want, you can call it whatever. You can call this back elbow. It's alley according to the thing, but I think this is elbow. And this is alley. This is what A site looks like. And you can see like how many points of contact there will probably be. And this is before I even get to one of the most important spots I think you should actually play on this map. But yeah, here's alley. Here's A site. This is box. Like arguably this is just box. This is A boxes. You have a nice little bunch of breakables here, that you can use to fight this guy here, who's playing alley or elbow. It's very easy to rotate as a defender from mid top, who's watching the late lurk, into top A or A link. Yeah, so that's A link. As we continue, here's where one of the other orbs are. I think there's only 2 orbs on this map because there's only 2 sites. Unlike Fracture that has 4. Here's what back elbow looks like. The only thing that's of note is this rat angle potentially that you can get up if you're playing defense, and there's no real like, if you're playing jet you can't really like hold and then dash up. You can try, but I don't think it'll work. There's this bit of slanted design. What I found, especially with the way Riot designs their maps, if ever there's a thing like this, it means that when they did playtesting, this was a really strong angle. So this slant just means that you can't tuck in as much, and you get exposed. You get exposed a lot sooner. So I don't have to swing deep into this. Where you have advantage, I can swing like here, because you physically can't play deeper than this. You can play like close here, but if you're playing like close there, I still see you first more often than not. So yeah, here's the orb. Here is A main, A lobby. So A lobby is this. You can be, I would forgive it, but I'm also like not the highest elo player. If you call this entire area A main, and then actually call this area here lobby. So from like this straight line here, lobby. The reason why I say that is because you're not likely to fight in lobby, and if someone is flanking up lobby, then they'll more, if someone calls someone's flanking, they'll more likely be here than anywhere else. Yeah. So that's like the brief overview of Sunset. There is beautiful Los Angeles behind you. I think there's a basketball court somewhere. Yeah. There's this. There's that. I accidentally died. Where you can actually play, I think you can play a Viper basketball. So if you're ever bored in a custom and you want to do something, you want to pass time while your friends are currently playing DMs, you can play Viper basketball, which is like a really cool addition. The map designer of it was talking about how they like leaving these things open, and I think it's a cool touch. The colors are also gecko colored, so this is the place where Gecko cinematic took place. But anyway, so in regards to just general way of play, I don't know what the agents are going to be, and I'd be a fraud if I claimed I knew. But all I know from my first impressions, Viper is insanely strong on this map. Actually, before I get into agents and stuff, let's go to barriers. Let's look where the barriers are, so you kind of know where we're starting. There's a barrier here that stops attackers. There's a barrier that's about 7 meters from this, which is not that far a swing. The barrier on Tile's side is quite a bit away from the actual swing. It's about 19, so this is like almost triple the distance. And then this one is actually quite close, because the minute barriers go down, if you're smart, if you're fast, there's probably some lineup where it's like completely over, and just walls off lobby side. There's probably one that like can land here, which would be really interesting to find. I think the first team to find that is going to use that a lot, because either one for elbow or one for A-Link. Doesn't necessarily have to be Viper doing it. I just think Viper in conjunction with another agent is probably really good at it. So there's probably this one here. This one I'm just using because of the map. Covers all of this. And there must be one that goes into elbow. I'm not going to look for lineups now. I kind of want to see how people play the map first, especially because we're going into our competitive cycle in South Africa. So it'll be interesting to see what our reads on the maps are. Yeah, imagine it looks like there's one where you jump through from there. There might be one from here. Yeah, there's definitely one from here, but it's a very tricky one. Yeah, so my read, initially, at least, is the agents that are going to be really strong on this map. Viper is one that is insanely strong, because not only can she decide that she wants to cut this entire site in half. Let me just show you what I mean. She can walk up to this corner, and she can cut this entire map in half, or this entire sight line in half, cutting off this long angle and forcing you to play close. in addition to the fact that this wall also makes it quite hard to fight for main when this is up. And you kind of have to fight for backside. But the problem with this wall, obviously, if you're playing retake, all the defenders can just sort of group up back here, wait for smoke to drop, and then Viper can throw an orb, or another controller can throw an orb, smoke this off. Makes game quite nightmarish, right? So, yeah. So that's like one of the many walls. That's just the attacking Viper wall. If it's talking defensive Viper walls, something like this maybe. Something like this gives you something more to fight with. You can even like adjust it slightly. I'm not a Viper. Oh, I am a Viper main, but I'm not a Viper one trick. So I want to see like how people interpret this map. What's optimum play, and what where people place their priorities. I imagine priority will be placed more like this. Because I do believe that people are going to recognize that this B main fight, or this top B fight, or top mid fight rather, is a lot more troublesome from this angle. People are going to realize it's a lot more troublesome from this angle. Especially on defense. This wall coming up means that people have to sort of swing wide in through the smoke to try and get to you. And then that means that this guy who's playing top mid, I don't think it should be a Viper player. I think it should be an initiator or a duelist. Can just watch this. Can just watch this gap here. Yeah. In terms of distance, while we're on the topic of it, in terms of distances, I think the longest fight, for all those min maxes as well, this is 50 meters. So from the back of top mid to the bottom of top, or from top mid to bot mid, it's 50 meters. This is 36 meters, which is the second longest, I think, because this is, I think, 32. This is 32, yeah. And then the last one, well, there's two more. There's this long one here from market, from Boba down to bot market is 36, same distance as the distance from A link to A main. You can actually see the straight line that's drawn from like here to here. And then this is, I think, 32 as well. This is 41. Okay, so this is the second longest angle. But they're not gonna, they won't peek you from there. Or I hope they won't peek you from there. And if they do, this fight here is kind of favorable. You can actually like bait and switch with having someone tuck here. The problem with this is if they tuck and swing, they're exposed to this, right? So that's why my initial read on it was a good Viper wall or good Harbor wall is something along the lines of this. Just because then this guy here can help you. The problem is this creates an insane lurk smoke for attackers. You just need to be very aware of it, especially if they're coming out like market, or if they want to walk through here. But then they have to expose this angle here, which is mahusive. Yeah. So that's my read on it. In terms of who I think is like a really strong thing, really strong comp, or what agents I think are really strong on this. I don't think we've escaped Viper Harbor meta. I don't think we've escaped them. I think they're still really, really strong. But I do see Omen and Astra being really good controllers. Just in regards to like how controllers are played. I would probably link a... Yeah, what's up, Rasta? We're talking analysis, yeah. And then we're going to do some casting later. Yeah. So I think that Viper and Harbor are still really, really strong. I just think that Astra and Omen aren't to be slept on, because Astra and Omen, in terms of like big smokes, the people with the biggest smokes in the game, I think, are these two, and I think Brim has a big-ish smoke. I don't think it covers everything, but I think Brim has a bigger smoke. When I say big smokes, I mean smokes that will cover all of this. Like I'm talking smokes that can potentially cut off entire like sight lines. This one as well, even though I don't think this smoke is worth it, I think you're better off throwing some Viper walls or some Viper walls to like break up some of these crossfires. In my opinion, you're better off throwing some Viper walls to break up some crossfires. Throwing a wall like this maybe, because the barriers don't cover it. Throwing a wall like this, so then you can get some really insane timing on the retake. I imagine this is a really good B main wall. I'm not coaching anyone. I'm just recording a video for first insights, because we have a bunch of South African players who don't know how to play certain maps. So I'm going to start recording videos over the next couple of days talking about each of the maps. We're going to go back into old breeze and stuff like that, but we're not going to do those now. I'm just talking about what I think. But anyway, so Viper walls like this, harbor walls as well. There's probably a really good harbor wall. No, not Cascade. I want High Tide. I want, maybe there's like a wall like this. I think there's a wall like this. If you're playing harbor on this map, if you can do this, if you have the cojones to do that, that's like game winning. That's like stall worthy. If you have this and you double up with like an initiate or something to fight for this space, here and make sure no one can test this, I think you probably have a good chance of winning this. However, keeping in mind that this is a two-man job. Holding B is a two-man job. Holding mid is a one-man job. Holding markets is a one-man job. And holding A is a two-man job. Now you see where the problem lies. You logically don't have enough players to contest everything. Which means, like I said, I deleted the notes, but retake is king. Retake is king. Genuinely, retake makes this game, this map, so much more playable. Because, for example, I'm going to use Bind as an example, because I'm going to talk about it later. But Bind is the one map that I'm the most prepped on in terms of protocols and like understanding and how to play it. Let's take B, for example. Let's take B site on Bind. B site on Bind is divided into 3 areas for site take and site retake. Right? If you're a defender, let's say hypothetically you're Mr. Brimothy, right? And hypothetically it's 5 alive. I'll just throw like the standard comp. The standard comp here. Sky Breach, Vipers here as well, and then there's one more I'm missing. I think I'm missing one more. Let's take Yoru. Well, whatever. Let's take Yoru as the second initiator. Second duelist, rather. Let's say your team is playing like this, right? And then we have your Viper Jet Yoru, or Viper... Well, we wouldn't have Yoru in this situation. Whatever. We don't need to know. This is like min-maxing. But anyway, let's say you have it like this. If your team is retaking onto B, if you are retaking onto B site, in order of priority, you have... It's like that, more or less. If you lose any of these zones, you preferably want to lose them from highest down to lowest, if that makes sense. We can retake without long control because we just smoke, right? We can retake without hookah control because then you just smoke. You can't start a retake if you've lost holes, because there's so many angles that holes can cover. So you kind of need to have that in the back of your mind. I think the same thing goes for Sunset, where if we're playing defense on this, we can retake B because we have smokes. Let me use Omen. Omen's a better example. We can retake B because we have smokes. We can retake market because we have blinds. We have smokes. Right? We can like cut off these angles and force these guys onto site. We can retake like anywhere, but if you lose Boba, then it's kind of hard to play the game. If you lose Boba, let's say hypothetically you had to choose one of the 3 zones to lose, you give up the space anyway. Let's say you had to pick. I would say the Boba is priority 1, Market is priority 2, this is priority 3. Because of how good late lurks are, you could potentially pressure this and then walk in with 2 people and kill the guys there. You can walk into Market, which is probably going to be contestable, and walk into Boba as well. But you need to be able to walk into Boba, and you need to be able to walk through mid into Boba, through spawn into Boba. A is not as bad because I argue the areas of retake or areas of control are along the lines of this, any alley control, and any A long control. I'm gonna call this A long. Yeah, alley, elbow, A long control. I'll say this is 3rd, this is 2nd, because I reckon you can smoke this off. Like this can be completely cut off. This becomes a non-factor unless you're diffusing. This is like a very important fight for people playing lineups back here or something. You can actually like cut off people playing lineups back here. Yeah, so in my order of priority, I rate is like this. You want to have your alley, you want to have your A long, and you want to have elbow 3rd. And then this is you want Boba, you want Market, and then you want maps. Yeah. And then in regards to mid, no, that's something completely different. If you're attacking, however, I think same thing. It's like literally reverse order. You want to have this, you want to have this, and then you want to have this. You're not necessarily retaking, but you want to defend it in that order. If you can contest this area, that's good. You can contest mid, that's good. But most importantly, you don't want to lose this. You want to be able to play back here, but they know the minute they flood out and contest everything else, if they've contested the entire site, and they've contested if they've contested Market, then they are more likely to contest the entire site. If they've contested Boba, they can't really start their flood until they get onto site, if that makes sense. Giving up Market gives them sight. Giving up Boba doesn't necessarily give them sight. What else? Mid, don't fight this. Fight this instead. That's not how you do a tick. Is that how you do a tick? Yeah. Don't fight this, don't fight that. And then also if you're playing the other way around, don't fight that, but fight that. If that makes sense. Yeah. And then the question of do you close this door? Depends on the comp. But anyway, let's figure out. From my first impressions, Killjoy is still really, really strong. Breach, I'm not too settled on. In terms of initiators, thematically I want to say Gecko. Because this map has has a high demand for reactive play, Gecko is really, really strong on A site. KJ is really, really strong on A site as well, because I'm not too sure. I think KJ can play all the way on A long. I think KJ can play all the way on A long on her own with a good setup. So the setup I was experimenting with, I was looking at as a resident KJ Sentinel main or Sentinel controller main. The setup that I was looking at, I don't know where I am. That's really cool. There's a line over here. That's so cool. Anyway, so the setup I was looking at in regards to playing KJ on this map is something like that. Well, let me turn off these. Something like this and something like this maybe. And then KJ can play over here for fast retake. Because if they're coming up long, then she'll know. she can actually play back alley over here for fast retake. Because if they want to fight her, then they will have to walk through this spawn, and I don't have to tell you. Kind of don't want to run through that spawn, right? You can actually place your alarm bot. Like I said, you wouldn't be playing retake, so you can actually place your alarm bot a lot further back. Something like this, for example, just to stop them from flooding out here. The reason why I say that is because nothing is harder than trying to get back when a raise is satcheling into your elbow, right? So you kind of want to be able to, oh, I saw something, I get back here. That's why a lot of these, you can see, like, if you ever want a cheat sheet for Valorant map design, if there's any box that's like this, that has like this sort of thing, I don't know if you can see it, between the pallets, there's like this thing here. More often than not, there is a way to, like, because this is spammable, you can get shot through this, right? So you kind of want to, like, play some kind of pixel angle, but you can't play back here, because if you play back here and they flood out main on you, you're just straight up dead. There is no hope in hell that you're gonna survive that. In regards to holding A main, tried and tested, KJ bots is better than most KJ players. Putting one like this also protects your back from anybody that's trying to late lurk on you. Because like I said, late lurks are really, really strong on this map. And if there's a turret here, it's going to spot you. If you come all the way into CT, that turret can spot you. You just have to put it on a different spot. But you can actually get timing on that one. So I might have to relook at the setup. But yeah, initially I thought that was really, really good. But yeah, that turret can spot you if you come out, if you're fully, like, exposed to this. And KJ will know. KJ will know, especially if, let's say, you're playing the way I suggest you play the game, of having, oh, well, I haven't told you how I suggest, but I think the way you play this, you have one person mid, you have one person A, one person mid, one person market, and two people on B. Because I feel like B is out of all the sites, very, very easy to reclaim space with really good smoke usage. However, B, on the other hand, is so open that if you don't have a Harbor or Viper, it becomes very, very difficult to do that. So, yeah, that's my take on it. KJ should be playing it. When we get to Gecko and stuff, well, KJ is really good on A, mainly because I don't think she's really good on B, and she can also play, let's say, this mid. Let's say we follow sort of standard protocol where, for anyone who's lower elo, I'll use this one, and also I'll explain it using splits as well. Not splits, I'll explain it using Haven. Haven is a really good example of rotation protocols. Now, a protocol is basically if one thing happens, then do this, right? So let's say you have an Omen playing C, you have a Killjoy playing Garage and B, you have your Jet, your Sky, and we'll say a Viper as well. We'll say we're running double smokes and a Sentinel. Yeah, we'll say this, right? If you're playing like this, good rotation protocol and, like, being a good teammate dictates that the minute KJ leaves B, it is Omen's job to full B like that. To make sure that there is no gap in the middle of the map that can be sort of exploited. Even if you give up C, that's fine. We can retake as 5. But if you lose B control, then there's a guy who's literally sitting in the middle. There's this huge question mark right here. About where, like, is there someone B? Is he up spawn? Is he going C? Are they going through garage? Like, there's a lot of questions that get exposed from that. Yeah. On Sunset, however, same idea on Sunset. You play, if you have a single person playing A, they can full B. The person who's playing mid can full market, and the person who's playing market can either contest for site or can contest for market more aggressively, while being protected by this guy watching here. But anyway, back to my comps. I think, until I see otherwise, I think a good comp, I feel like it's a double initiator map. We're running either Gecko Sky, or we're either running Gecko Sky Killjoy, and then we're running Gecko Sky Killjoy. I don't want to take that. I'll say Gecko Fade, and we need really strong retake. So we'll probably take a Raze or something, and maybe a Phoenix. That's my initial read. It's very, very rough. It's very, very bad. But this is my initial read, just because I believe that Raze has really good control of this site with Fade. Phoenix can sort of contest this really, really well. You can actually put Phoenix mid like that, and you can put Gecko here, but I don't like putting double initiators on either side. So putting it like this, putting it like this, and putting it like this. Standard comp ideology dictates that it's probably actually going to be something like Gecko. It's probably going to be something like Fade, Fade Sky, Fade Sova. Because I imagine having these dots that fully clear out here would be really, really good. Yeah, I actually have, this is just without smokes. This is without smokes. If I wanted to consider smokes a bit more, I think Viper is a must. Astro Omen. Secondary. I don't know how big Brim ulti is. Brim ulti can clear sight, but that's like a very situational thing. And then Premier Duelists, I think. Raze Jet. Aren't bad looks on this map. Neon. Because I was actually playing with a Neon player the other day, and Neon, she told me that there's a Neon bolt that lands like this. You can bounce a bolt somewhere from A main, and it clears out all of backside. And then she can just sprint in. Yeah. That's what these are like my suggestions. And then also for initiators, I think Fade is really, really good on this map. I think Breach could be really good for fast retakes. He just has so much defensive util that can be used if you can get him up into market. He can stun all of this. For actual fast sight hits, he can stun all of this. His ulti, the entire B site, most of A site's just too big for him. But if you can get him into one of these premier spots, like I was mentioning, or other way around, if you can get him into one of these premier spots, you can choose to clear out one of the other. I wouldn't clear out this. I would rather clear out CT. I think A main is very, very easy to take just by straight guns, and KO. These are my three picks for. So for Sentinel, any combination of that's good. I think you need two. I argue you need two controllers. Oh, that's the wrong line. I argue you need two controllers. You need one duelist. You need one of these initiators, and you need one sentinel. You could arguably do 1, 1, 2, and then 1. But yeah, in regards to sentinels, I think Cage is really good. I think I haven't experimented with him as much. I think Cypher is really good. If you're a psychopath and Chamber gets some attention, Chamber might be good. And I argue Deadlock might have a role on this map. And let me explain. I think that Deadlock on this map, in a map where the entirety of it is playing retake, an agent that's main priority
But keep focused.
Um,
Adrenaline is a dangerous thing.
is stall. I think that Deadlock being able to... Oh, someone shouts they're coming mid.
Barrier deployed.
Deadlock can wall that off entirely while keeping the door open. She can, in theory, play more passively by leaving a sensor on the door. I don't know if the door... I need someone to do testing for me. I don't know if the sensor gets tripped by the door making noise. I don't know if the switch noise or pressing the switch creates noise. I think the door creates noise, but the switch won't trip. But I think that's a good trip for her. I think this is a great trip for her.
Sound sensor up.
Something along those lines. And I think, especially because of where the barrier is, I think something like this is also a really good trip for her. Because you're not gonna... You can contact up here, sure. But the minute you make a noise, exposing this guy here, that step there concusses everybody. We have a raise nade coming through. We have a neon stun coming through on top of that. Really, really insane. Really, really insane scenes. And then grenade, obviously. Her grenade, in conjunction with a bunch of util, can go through this window. Fully clear out market. If you want to do it from a retake or from a defender side, this clears out close left. Unless a jet or someone's playing up here, this clears out close left, which means that if it tags, if it pings, this person here is just straight up dead. Yeah, but that's my argument for Deadlock on this map. I argue Deadlock has a place on this map just because I can see a lot more setup for her, and a lot of her ulti covers a lot of everything. Covers all of backside. It covers retake from Boba. Retake from Boba, I can just literally like fire this through. Close right's cleared, right? We're playing market retake. Playing market retake. Deadlock shouts in Norwegian. Bam.
Nothing there. Over there.
This guy who's playing back here is dead. Hell, you can even clear out the entire you can even clear out close left on market.
Nothing there.
Just by doing stuff like that. I think she's really, really strong. She has a kit that works really, really well on this map. I don't know if we're gonna see much use. I think that Deadlock needs Deadlock needs a bit more attention. The only thing I wish to make her even better, her grenade should suppress. I think that's the only thing. Her grenade should suppress. If her grenade did this and suppressed, then I'm like sorted. If it disabled your abilities for a bit, just like fully dissuade you from going in, besides just being rooted on the floor, I think it's still fully accurate, by the way. I'm not too sure. Because what? 85 degrees? 85 degrees. Yeah, literally just crash bang. So I think if this suppressed, or if rather this, instead of stunning you, it yanked you to the wall, would be insane. So and also then, even if you do choose to fire, you're doing it at 5 degrees shot in accuracy. But anyway, that's just my take on the subject. Yeah. And yeah, I'll edit this together and yeah, I'll see you guys around. We're going to do more maps. I don't know what map you guys want to do next, if you guys are still here. But the next map I want to do, because we've just ticked off Sunset, I feel like I'm missing a role. I've done controllers, I've done duelists, now I've done everything. But yeah, if you guys want to... well, the next map I'm going to do is going to be a toss-up between either a Scent or Haven. Or Split. The big three. That's gonna be one of the maps I do next, and hopefully I can get a guest because I have someone who I want to help me out with these things because I think he's really, really smart on the subject. Yeah, So also hopefully we get this video out, and I'll see if that'll convince him. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate it.